Right now, the latest on the U.S. involvement in the Israel-Iran conflict, the key meetings and briefings that are still to come.
And we're dealing with the calm before the storm right now, waking up with some sunshine, but that'll be a different story later in the day. We'll have the details regarding today's alert day.
Plus, a new way to pay on Madison Metro buses. Thanks for tuning in, folks, to News 3 Now this morning on a Thursday. I'm Chris Stanford, Savannah Brito at the desk. Kyrian is off today. All right, we have more active weather in the forecast, another alert day. We're just in this pattern.
I know.
And you said we were going to be in this pattern. You and the First Warn Weather team did. It's something to do with the heat dome.
Yeah, the heat dome, the ring of fire pattern that we're in, those storms ride the top of the ridge, and the stationary boundary that we have is setting up just to our south right now. And those storms kind of are just going to be around that. And then we've been dealing with lines of storms the last several days.
Yeah, one of the concerns tonight is the risk of flooding.
Yes.
We have this video from La Crosse at what the storms yesterday dropped on the city. If you're familiar with the area, this was around Cass Street on the city's south side. Local police, of course, asking folks to avoid this area until the water subsides. Is this something that we could see this evening in our viewing area, Savannah?
There is potential and the growing concern just because we had about 2.5 inches of rainfall in Madison on Monday. We had a lot of heavy rainfall yesterday, and then more rain, more widespread and heavy rain is in the forecast. So I do think flooding, that's one of the reasons behind today's alert day, will be a concern, and then because of the severe weather that we could see. Visibilities are continuing to fluctuate. Boscobel and also Mineral Point at 0. Veroque was at half mile, same with Black River Falls, but just directly east of those areas that are dealing with some pretty dense fog, we're currently up to full visibility at 10 miles in Madison. All visibilities will increase though by mid to late morning, and then we're tracking the alert day conditions through tonight. We'll time out those storms and also talk about more threats that we could see regarding today's alert day coming up, Chris.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Savannah. Folks, stay ahead of those storms by tracking them right in the palm of your hand with the free First Warn Weather app. This morning, the Pentagon is expected to give a news conference on last weekend's strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. The White House also preparing for a meeting with Iran. This comes after President Donald Trump said he believes their war with Israel is, quote, finished. The president doubled down on those claims at the NATO summit yesterday, despite a contradictory assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency that says Iran's nuclear program has only been set back a few months. Senators will receive a classified briefing on the strike soon. Meanwhile, a briefing for the House is set for tomorrow. Today, protests are planned at the state capitol against the war in Iran. The Madison branch of the 5051 movement will host a silent march, sit-in, and protest from 4 to 7 o'clock this afternoon. 5051 is demanding no further strikes or use of force without congressional approval. The movement says they're dedicated to nonviolence and peaceful conflict resolutions. 5051 stands for 50 states, 50 protests, 1 movement. This morning, Green Lake police are investigating the death of a child who was killed by a vehicle while that child was riding their bike. Police responded to Hill Street near the library just before 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Investigators say the child was on the sidewalk when a driver trying to park drove over the curb and hit the child. Officials rushed that child to the Ripon Medical Center, where they ultimately died. In other news this morning, a Madison woman who pleaded guilty in a 2024 shooting is now sentenced to 10 years in prison. 28-year-old Tamar Beasley shot 31-year-old Andrew Rice. She pleaded guilty to homicide by negligent handling of a dangerous weapon with domestic abuse assessments and second-degree recklessly endangering safety. These are downgraded charges that were part of a plea deal. At the state capitol, the Supreme Court has decided that the Republican-controlled legislature can keep money for certain programs under its control. The state's highest court unanimously struck down a partial veto by Governor Evers. The case stems from a fight over literacy funding within the Department of Public Instruction. Republicans put the money in an emergency fund. The governor argued that they couldn't withhold the funding. Also on the state Supreme Court, justices will not hear Democrats' arguments to throw out the state's current congressional maps. Democrats were asking for new maps as they look to regain control of the House. The 4 liberal and 3 conservative justices, though, rejected the ask. 6:04. Imagine exchanging your wedding vows on a stage in front of hundreds of strangers. Well, on the 10th anniversary of the ruling legalizing same-sex marriage, one play is allowing couples to do just that. It's called We Are Gathered. It's from the same playwright as the Oscar-winning film Moonlight. It's a celebration of queer love that incorporates real-life couples into its final act of and one of its actors is able to do this because they're ordained to perform legal marriages right on the stage. It's an act of celebration, but also a way to send a message of vigilance.
You know, the act of joy is an interesting thing, right? Because it can come out of nowhere, and sometimes it's predicated in our darkest moments. And for me, this moment to celebrate really is resistance.
I now pronounce you married. Please kiss your beloved.
We Are Gathered is part of World Pride in Washington, D.C., a global celebration that honors the progress made in the fight for equality. Well, back at home, you can now use a credit card to pay to ride the bus in Madison. You can also pay using mobile wallets like Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and Google Pay. Using your credit card will provide you the same discounts as a Metro Fast Fare, $2 for a single ride, and a cap of $5 a day. Families with young kids now have access to free activities and mental health resources right along the bus route. Local nonprofit Janesville Community Center and SSM Health are partnering up to offer play stops for families this summer. Our consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn checked it out and is here to show us what the play stop has to offer. Good morning.
Chris, good morning. Now, this behind me is no longer just the pediatrics waiting area at SSM Health. It's now a play stop where you can find a little library and books for positive learning activities for youth. That's exactly what play stands for here. And at the play stop, you can pick up play kits to take home. Now, these kits include themed crafts, learning resources, and fun activities kids can do with or without a parent. They're designed to support children's mental health. SSM Health officials say this program can be an asset to help parents and youth mental health.
There is a mental health component to all of them. And when we think about our mental health, it is one of our top priority areas for Rock County and from our community health needs assessment. And so when we think about mental health, we often think about counseling, we think about adult mental health, and we're not always thinking about our youth, and especially not our littles.
The activity kits are available to anyone who visits the hospital, not just patients. Volunteers restock the supplies regularly with new themed activities throughout the summer months. For June, that means severe weather preparation.
Prepare with K-Bureau is something that's provided by FEMA and Red Cross, so it's quality education and materials. They go through and talk about what is a tornado, right? Like what's the watch, a warning, how do we create a safe space for our family?
Each activity comes with something fun for the kiddos too. This one has a whistle and a flashlight. Now, JCC is a small and growing nonprofit with the goal to improve the family life of the underserved members of the community. You can get involved by contacting them on Facebook or the number on your screen.
What a neat idea, making some of these important topics fun for kids. You're talking about emergency preparedness, during severe weather season. That is important stuff for those kiddos to know. So
absolutely.
SSM Health and this nonprofit are teaming up
JCC.
to do some good. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And honestly, even if parents just need to know some ideas of what they can do with their kids, it's a great place to get inspiration. So
there you go. Thanks for showing us.
Absolutely.
All right, another news this morning. Well, Cots, they avoided and dodged the storms last night. It was just a beat away from washing out concerts on the square, you could say. Our Arman Rahman was there, ready to dance in the rain if he needed to. Here's the story.
When you live in Madison, the threat of some raindrops and some damp grass isn't enough to scare you away from the kickoff of the summer concerts on the square season.
We'd like to go to the one that's the most lively.
But the most lively show almost didn't go on because of the threat of storms. Concerts on the Square's opening, which featured Radiance, a group performing some of Motown's greatest hits from Aretha Franklin and the Supremes, was almost pushed to the rain day Thursday.
It's called Dancing in the Streets. It might end up dancing in the rain, maybe.
Thankfully, it stayed sunny, swinging, and sweet.
Luckily, Mother Nature decided to turn around, and we got a beautiful day, 80 degrees, and we're looking forward to serving some ice cream here today.
But regardless of how the sky looked at times, guests were out right at 3, laying blankets in the damp grass, or with their traditional setups, like Cribbage Queen's Heidi and her mom, Kathleen.
You got to bring something good to drink. You got to bring cheese and crackers of some sort, then a meal. We love to be here early and people watch and play cribbage. It's just fun. It's a great experience every Wednesday through the summer.
Next Wednesday's show is the 4th of July special, the Celebration of Liberty. Now, if you'll excuse me, I had to give my Motown dancing in the street feet a little bit of a break. Reporting on the square, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Sitting comfortable.
Oh boy, he's got a job almost as hard as yours, Josh.
Yeah, pretty much so. I'm so happy they were able to get it in last night.
I know, and the sunshine came out briefly. That was nice. All the storms pretty much dodged downtown Madison.
That's what was crazy is because we had major downpours in Wanakee. Downtown was good, and then like Oregon, Stoughton, like they got all of it last night.
And Janesville too.
Yeah.
Yep.
When are you guys going to be at concerts? When are you guys going?
So I will be there. I believe it's July 23rd. It's one of the last Julys or weeks.
One of the last weeks.
So yes,
I'll be there the Wednesday after the 4th, the 9th, I believe it is.
Okay. How about you?
Good stuff. Next week.
Awesome.
Next, the 2nd. It's the week they got their big. Well, they're doing all their 4th of July stuff.
Yeah, yep.
All their patriotic stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to look forward to, and I'm so happy. Like that first one, there's always a lot of pressure, right? I'm just happy that it went off without a hitch last night.
Absolutely, yeah. But we're tracking alert day conditions now. That's the big story. That'll be in place through tonight. Flooding, winds, and maybe even an isolated tornado threat. We'll time that out coming up.
Also ahead in the 608, I catch up with a former Badger basketball player about a big reunion happening tonight for the 2015 Final Four team.
Cool.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Or dry for the time being, actually starting with a little bit of sunshine east of Madison. It's foggy west of Madison. We have some dense fog there that's expected to clear by mid to late morning. We will continue to be mostly dry now until about lunchtime, but between 12 and 2, that's when I expect some isolated showers and storms to develop. Some of those could be on the stronger side. That's more likely with a line of storms that'll start to move in out across northern Iowa and also east southern Minnesota into central and southern Wisconsin between 12 and 4. Peak storm intensity expected 4 to 8 p.m. After that, storms start to weaken and continue to move east, but we leave that threat of severe weather until about 9 to 10, and that diminishes completely after 10. There will be a few showers, but nothing will be stormy after that point in time. This is what I mentioned. This is future track showing those storms developing where that stationary front kind of stalls. We saw that yesterday, and that'll be the case again. I do think that'll be right around Madison later. That was about 1:30. Then we get to the line of storms. That'll be northwest of here about 4:30. That's when that line's expected to move in. And then I do think 4 to 6 p.m., that's when that'll be just due west of Madison. Peak intensity for us in Dane County, about 6 to 8 or 8:30. And then storms still going to track pockets of heavy rain. And the second half of today's alert day, because of the flooding that we could see, that'll continue even after about 8 to 9 p.m. And then once we hit midnight, that's when showers completely move eastward, maybe a few very spotty ones with some patchy fog waking up tomorrow, but there won't be any more severe weather. Damaging or strong winds, that's going to be the biggest thing. A slight risk was actually introduced yesterday evening for western Dane County, Lone Rock, Platteville, Prairie du Chien, Viroqua, and then out across Iowa and very far southeastern Minnesota. That's where the best chance of severe weather is going to be. But the rest of us have a low marginal risk. That's a 1 out of 5. The best chance is going to be just west of Madison. And then flooding with the heavy rain we had Monday and more heavy rainfall that's in the forecast today. I think we'll at least see half an inch, and then even areas in the purple and reds mainly could see upwards of another 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches of rainfall. So that's the second half of today's alert day, because the flooding and heavy rainfall that's going to continue to be an ongoing concern. Alert day dropped then later tonight with temperatures warming right back up into the upper 80s and lower 90s for the weekend. More storm chances Sunday into Monday. Thankfully, we'll have dry weather tomorrow after the morning into Saturday, and then more dry weather expected taking us up just until the 4th of July.
I'm getting sick of this humidity.
I know, it's sticking around for some time, though. We might see some relief about Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Well, looking forward to it. All right, Savannah, thank you. In the 608 this morning, we are looking ahead to an event in Madison that'll have Badger basketball fans reminiscing. Josh Breider is here with more on that conversation. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning to you, Chris. For the first time in a decade, some Wisconsin basketball icons are reuniting on the big stage to reflect on their incredible journey during the unforgettable 2015 Deep Tournament run. Ahead of the event at the Orpheum tonight, I had the opportunity to catch up with a former Badger who's moderating the conversation. Well, we are super excited to be talking with Ben Bruss today. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time on News 3 Now.
I am so happy to be here. Excited for what's to come.
Yeah, you guys have a big event coming up Thursday night. Let's talk about Made in Believe, because this is going to be a night like no other.
Yeah, on Thursday at the Orpheum at 7 p.m., this is a great opportunity for any Badger fan who loved the back-to-back Final Four years, but more specifically the 2015 championship runner-up team. That team was special. When I say where were you when the Badgers beat Kentucky when they were 38-0, if you're watching right now, you could probably put yourself wherever you were in the world. And I think that's what's so special is it's been 10 years since the 2015 team, and life happens fast. You know, you got guys all across the country, guys playing in the NBA, guys starting families. And so to get everyone together and have Bo Ryan, who just was in the Naismith Hall of Fame induction, all on stage to entertain the audience and to tell stories and to bring in some videos from some special guests. I'm really excited to be a small part of this and really making sure that if you get tickets at uwhoops2015.com, you're going to have a heck of a time.
You know, this is special for you because not only are you helping organize this event, you got to play with these guys. You know, this is kind of a full circle moment for you as well.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a couple things that I'll hit on that we definitely will on the show on Thursday is, you know, Josh Gosser being on stage is only possible because he tore his ACL. And he was my best friend, roommate in college. And right before our junior years, he stepped on my foot and tore his ACL. So is that the best accident that ever happened to Wisconsin basketball? I want to hear from Josh, Frank Kaminsky. I hug him every time I see him because I was never nervous my entire life before any basketball game. But in 2014 in the Elite Eight against Arizona, I just wanted to do something that was memorable, and that was to go to a Final Four. If you go to Elite Eight, it's a great season. Frank put the team on his back in 2014, and I hug him every day for the opportunity to go to the Final Four because of how well he played. But then this squad, these guys, parlaying their success from 2014 into an historic run in 2015. It's just this is awesome. These are some of my best friends. We're all in different phases and stages of life, and to get them in person all together to share stories with an audience to enjoy everything we're going to share, it is exciting. It is a full circle moment as we're all getting older, and the excitement that I feel from them is also palpable because it's amazing that they're excited to come back to Madison and put on a show as well.
Well, we here at News 3 Now are super excited for it too. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks so much. uwhoops2015.com. Get those tickets.
And we have that link up on channel3000.com. Yeah. News 3 Now also happy to be part of this. Our Eric Franke will be there tonight as well.
So. All right, good stuff.
Yes.
I mean, that was just, it was a moment in time for Wisconsin men's basketball that was just so special. The city, the state, you know, rallying around, you know, that team, pulling off some incredible things. And I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to see what those guys have to say when they catch up with each other tonight.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. He said, you know where you were at that time. I was a baby reporter up in Eau Claire at the time when this had happened. And it's like, I still remember where I was in that moment. And yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Good stuff. All right, Josh. Cool. Thanks for sharing it with us.
You bet.
All right, well, still ahead, a giant chocolate cow.
All right.
That's after this. We want to thank Randall for sharing his morning with us. A picture of Clear Lake in Milton. Very nice. Appreciate that, Ronald. Thank you. Well, still on the show at a chocolate festival in Chile, a cow. You know, we've seen a cow made out of butter. How about this? A cow made out of chocolate.
All right.
Master chocolatiers, sculptors, and local culinary students handcrafting this 1,200-pound cow. Everybody's looking on. This thing ends up erupting into quite the party. You'll see here. So not only is this thing made of chocolate, You can also milk it.
Stop.
Seriously, you'll see some little kid come up here soon and start milking the cow, and like chocolate milk sauce comes out or something.
But even though it's 1,200 pounds, literally it's just like a chocolate bunny. It's hollow.
Yeah.
You see? They're hitting it.
Yeah. So is that where
Easter
chocolate
Bunny
milk
needs
comes
to bring
from?
me one of those next year.
That is not where chocolate milk comes from.
You see, they break the pieces off, they're throwing it out in the
Come from
crowd.
brown cows, don't you know?
Looks like fun.
All right, well, we're tracking alert day conditions when we come up.
Today, President Trump working to push forward his big, beautiful bill, how Congress is reacting. And concerts at Camp Randall return, how the city is preparing. Hey, thanks for joining us here on a Thursday morning, folks. To News 3 Now this morning, I'm Chris Stanford. Kyriana is off today. It's another alert day. We have more storm chances in the forecast and more heat. Let's get to Savannah Brito, who's live outside the studio here in Madison with your certified most accurate forecast. Good morning, Savannah.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you. We're actually waking up to some sunshine across Dane County right now. There are some spotty showers out in Minnesota and just northwest of La Crosse. But right now, this is the calm before the storm. It is very humid. We almost have 100% humidity. Our temperature pretty much exactly in line with our dew points this morning. We do have some dense fog west of here out near Lone Rock, Viroqua, La Crosse, Boscobel, and Mineral Point. Those areas are waking up into the upper 60s. We're waking up to the lower 70s in Madison, but there is a temperature gradient. Check out Watoma, only at 57 this morning. That's because of a stationary front that'll lead to storms to develop later, and then a line will move in. Alert day conditions will be in place through tonight because of stronger storms and then also flooding. We'll time all that out coming up.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Savannah. Folks, you can stay ahead of those storms with the free First Warn weather app. Download it wherever you get yours. Well, today, President Donald Trump is peddling his sweeping domestic policy bill. He is set to push it at a White House event this afternoon. That's as GOP leaders hope that the Senate will pass the plan this week and then send it back to the House. Democrats oppose the bill's cuts to Medicaid and other programs, and a few Republicans say that they have concerns. Republicans opposing the bill say they're worried about rural hospitals. GOP leaders are now considering a rural hospital fund to reduce that blow. Some Republicans say they're also worried about the national debt. And in local news this morning, the family of the fourth victim in the Janesville murder-suicide will hold a memorial. The Rock County Medical Examiner's Office has identified her as 21-year-old Haley Lounsbury. She died in the hospital 6 days after the shooting at Aspen Square Apartments. A preliminary investigation shows one person shot 3 others before shooting themselves. Police have yet to identify the shooter in this case. The deaths do remain under investigation by Janesville Police and the Medical Examiner's Office. Meantime, the family of a Green Bay girl who died after a tree fell on her during a storm this week is speaking out. The victim, Rose, her mother, Jamie, is talking to the media now. She says that her brother, that Rose and her brother were just outside their home, coming back from a trip to the grocery store during Monday's thunderstorm. That's when the wind picked up and part of a neighbor's tree fell. It narrowly missed the brother, but it fell right on Rose. Her mother says she was braver than most.
My daughter's actually a miracle baby. She wasn't supposed to make it during birth. She was born with collapsed lungs, and doctors told me she wasn't going to make it. But she proved them wrong. She only lived to be 9.
Thunderstorm warning was in effect at the time. Winds were reaching up to almost 60 miles an hour. Rose's family now wishes to put together a vigil in her honor. There was a GoFundMe page set up to help the family pay for funeral costs. Well, if you're thinking about swimming anytime in Dane County soon, do know that several beaches in the area are closed for water quality concerns. Public Health Madison and Dane County does test local beaches and lake access points frequently this time of year. The beaches will be closed until levels of E. coli or blue-green algae decrease. You can check the status of all of our area waterways and beaches by going to publichealthmdc.com. That's the website that's on your screen right now. Happening today in Beaver Dam, they are getting together for the YMCA's world's largest swim lesson. The annual event brings awareness to water safety and drowning prevention. They'll be on site all day spreading safety awareness and sharing information on swim lessons at the Y. It's from 5 to 6:30. There will be a community social with some free ice cream and activities for the kiddos. And they'll be giving out complimentary YMCA family day passes. Swim lessons will also be going on all day. Coming up this weekend, Camp Randall is going to welcome country artist Morgan Wallen. It's as the home of the Badgers is set to host a concert for the first time in decades. The concert's bringing in a lot of people to the area, and business along along Monroe Street are looking forward to an influx of people and all the potential customers.
Some people will stop in and many people won't, but they will be exposed to Monroe Street and will see what we have here. And we will have a lot of people that will come back after that, either days later or the next day or even months later, and say, oh yeah, I saw your store and we didn't get a chance to stop, so we've come back now.
Patrick Herb, the UW Athletics, says that they've been getting ready for the concert all week. He says bringing the Grammy-nominated artist to town is a big deal for the university and the city of Madison.
These tours have often skipped our community, so to be able to bring Morgan Wallen, Coldplay next month into Madison is great for everybody.
Coldplay also plays at Camp Randall this summer. Like he said, that performance is on July 19th. Well, new this morning, a local nonprofit is expanding its reach this summer. Janesville Community Center is now partnering up with SSM Health to bring educational activities to families in an unexpected place. Our consumer reporter, Michelle Renee Quinn, shows us the Play Stop. Good morning.
Chris, good morning. Now, you might recognize this space as the pediatrics waiting area at SSM Health Janesville, but new this summer is the Play Stop. That's positive learning activities for youth. Play, and you can find play kits here. JCC is a small but growing nonprofit that put learning activities right where families are already spending time. Now, this is not just for patients. Everyone is welcome to stop by and pick up free activity kits that combine fun with education. Each month, they'll have new kits focusing on different topics. For June, the theme focuses on safety, including storm preparedness and medication safety. The kits also include books in both English and Spanish. JCC founder Nikki Linneman says they like to sneak that education into kid-friendly activities that people want to do with their children. Each activity is meant to lift parent-child resilience and mental health in some way.
There are different ways and different things that we can do with our kids, without our kids can do independently. We have another kit. This is some things weren't meant to be shared so that we can talk about different things, medication, toothbrush. So it's an activity. It's kind of like a take and make. Kids can color. I'd rather eat bugs than do drugs, which has gummy worms and all of the fun things. This is a really cute activity for especially our younger kiddos.
The volunteer-based organization says this is their largest partnership to date. And families who are interested in getting involved can find the Janesville Community Center, Inc. on Facebook or call 608-554-3114 to get involved. That is a 100% donation and volunteer-based organization.
Good to see them partnering up with SSM Health and trying to reach those kids and families who can be underserved in the community and doing it in a creative way where you're combining, the play aspect of it with the important educational aspect of it too.
Absolutely.
Really cool idea.
And SSM Health says they're focusing not just on the one health aspect like physically, but they're talking about mind, body, and soul. So really focusing on that mental health for people of all ages, especially those littles.
All right, nice collaboration. Thanks, Michelle Renee.
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, folks, time is running out to vote for Best of Madison. You got just a few days left here. 5 sections, 150 categories of people, places, and things around town to choose from. Voting runs through June 30th. You can cast one vote in each category. Last year, almost 30,000 people voted. Those winners will be revealed in the October issue of Madison Magazine. Find a list of all the categories right now on channel3000.com. Just look for the banner at the top of the website. Well, today you can head out to Sun Prairie for the grand reveal of a week's worth of art. They'll be pulling back the curtains on 9 massive murals as part of Mural Fest in Block Party. From 5 to 8 at the Washington Mills building, enjoy food and fun as you admire those murals painted by 9 artists from across the country. Those artists have been working on the 12 by 16 foot murals since June 18th. They're all inspired by local modernist painter Georgia O'Keeffe, who, of course, is from Sun Prairie. Also at the party, a live DJ, a community mural project, and local vendors. Again, that's starting this afternoon at 5 o'clock. We do have the chance of some showers and storms moving through the viewing area. That's what Savannah Burrito is tracking this morning. Savannah?
Yeah, we do have alert day conditions with more flooding possible. This is what we had Monday alone, and we could see another 1 to 2 inches. We'll time out your alert day conditions coming up.
Also ahead in the 608, part 2 of my conversation with a former Badger basketball player about a big reunion tonight for the 2015 Final Four team.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back with some new video of some of that severe weather that pushed through the upper Midwest yesterday. Take a look at the cell phone footage capturing a small tornado in south central Minnesota. Boy, they're getting pretty close to this thing. This was near Heartland. And as you can see, that driver, I don't know, I wouldn't dare come this close to something like this. Savannah, this was part of the system that the First Warning Weather Team was tracking yesterday that eventually moved into our viewing area.
Yeah, this is the storm that was just directly west of the La Crosse area. They still had a tornado warning active for that area to our northwest. We could have an isolated tornado threat across southern Wisconsin again this afternoon. That's one of the reasons behind today's alert day. And then the flooding concern with all the heavy rainfall that we continue to see. We had that Monday, yesterday, and more rainfalls in the forecast. So your alert day will be in place through later tonight. Mostly dry conditions expected now until 2. I do think after about 12, between 12 and 2, that's when a few spotty showers will develop. The main line of storms, though, that pose the most damaging winds and isolated tornado threat, that's going to be between about 2 and 4 p.m., mainly west and northwest of Madison. Our peak storm intensity expected for most of southern Wisconsin, 4 to 8, about 6 to 8 specifically for Madison and Dane County. And then storms are going to end after that. Let's time that out on future track. So maybe a stray shower up until noon. And then once we head into about 1:30, that's when isolated showers are going to develop and storms along that stationary front. That's expected, I think, to be just around Madison or maybe a little bit further north. And then the line of showers, that'll move out of Minnesota and Iowa northwest into areas like La Crosse, Viroqua, Black River Falls, and Camp Douglas, pushing about 4 to 4:30. And that will continue to move east. This is now 6:30, showing those storms making its way to Madison. And that'll continue to be the case up until about 8. We'll still have lingering showers and storms. Some of these could still be on the stronger side after 8. But then once we near about 10 p.m., that's when our severe threats are going to diminish all across southern Wisconsin. We could very well have a couple of stray showers overnight, not going to be storms though, and that's what we'll wake up with tomorrow before some sunshine and cooler temperatures return. It'll be a lot better out there for Friday. It'll be brief though. The humidity and heat are both going to ramp up over the weekend. This is the latest outlook. A slight risk was introduced for areas like Viroqua, Lone Rock, Platteville, Prairie du Chien, western Dane County. That's west of the city of Madison for the best chance of severe weather. That's a level 2 out of 5, and then everyone else is under that green color. So strong winds definitely our biggest threat along with flooding, but there is also the isolated tornado threat. I think areas could see upwards of 1 to 2 inches. There might be a localized 2.5 inch, but most of us will at least pick up an inch. I do think that's going to continue to be or lead to a flooding concern because of that. And then beyond that, that's when temperatures are going to rise. We're back into the upper 80s, lower 90s for the weekend with more storm chances during that Sunday, Monday time frame. But I do think it'll get better about Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Okay, get out of this pattern, this cycle that we've been in, this heat dome, this ring of fire.
Storm chances and, severe weather chance almost every day last week and again this week. So I'm excited to get out of that pattern.
It's such a busy time.
It is.
In the weather office.
June.
Gosh.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Savannah.
You're welcome.
For all you do. We're looking for some Plan Your Day videos. Savannah will give you a customized forecast. Just send a video our way, say your name, where you're at, say a little something to make us smile. We'd appreciate it. And then upload it to channel3000.com, the First Warn Weather app, Facebook Messenger, or email us. In the 608, got something for Badger fans this morning. We're looking ahead to an event that'll have those basketball fans reminiscing. Josh Sprider live in studio with more on a special conversation about an event happening tonight. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Chris. Good morning to you. For the first time in a decade, some Wisconsin basketball icons are reuniting on the big stage to reflect on their incredible journey during that unforgettable 2015 Deep Tournament run. Here's part 2 of my conversation with a former Badger who's moderating tonight. Well, we are super excited to be talking with Ben Bruss today. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time on News 3 Now.
I am so happy to be here. Excited for what's to come.
Yeah, you guys have a big event coming up Thursday night. Let's talk about Made in Believe, because this is going to be a night like no other.
Yeah, on Thursday at the Orpheum at 7 p.m., this is a great opportunity for any Badger fan who loved the back-to-back Final Four years, but more specifically the 2015 championship runner-up team. That team was special. When I say where were you when the Badgers beat Kentucky when they were 38-0, if you're watching right now, you could probably put yourself wherever you were in the world. And I think that's what's so special is it's been 10 years since the 2015 team, and life happens fast. You know, you got guys all across the country, guys playing in the NBA, guys starting families. And so to get everyone together and have Bo Ryan, who just was in the Naismith Hall of Fame induction, all on stage to entertain the audience and to tell stories and to bring in some videos from some special guests. I'm really excited to be a small part of this and really making sure that if you get tickets at uwhoops2015.com, you're going to have a heck of a time.
And that's what's so exciting. Obviously, here in Wisconsin, we are Badger fans through and through. In this community, you know, like you mentioned, we remember where we were at that time. And to go back 10 years, this is going to be a very memorable night for a lot of folks.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think when you're at an event like this, you're going to have a lot of emotion, right? Because we're going to talk about things that place you in certain spots of your life. I think of it like there's a song, right? You listen to a song and you can put yourself where that song you heard it the first time or a memory you have with it. This team encapsulates that times 10 because it was such a big time in Wisconsin. And I think America really took to this team because of the personalities, the success on the floor. They were fun and they were good. And it's the purest form of college basketball. Who knows in today's world if this whole team in 2015 would have been together after the success of 2014. So to know that we don't have any other choice but to look back and be like, hey, this is a really cool story of how each player played a specific role and how the team came together, how they stayed together. I'm so excited because, again, I have those moments too where I remember where I was during a lot of those games throughout the 2015 season when I was overseas playing professionally in Lithuania. So I just love hearing from people who are going to be there, how excited they are. And if you have not gotten your tickets, you have to. I'm telling you, it will be worth your Thursday night. Get your Thursday night in Madison started at the Orpheum at 7 p.m. because it's going to be a great show, and I can't wait to share everything we have planned with everybody on Thursday in person.
Well, we here at News 3 Now are super excited for it too. Ben, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks so much. uwhoops2015.com. Get those tickets.
And those tickets still available. We have that link up on channel3000.com this morning. Boy, this is going to be a fun night.
What a cool idea, you know, to get these guys together. I mean, it sounds like they're really looking forward to it because, I mean, that was a special group that played on those years and the other stuff they accomplished. And to take a look back, you know, to see where they are now in life and the memories that they have from those times, can't wait.
Forever heroes for Badger State, right? I mean, this is going to be a really fun night to be able to hear some of those stories. And you're right, see exactly where they are because obviously time changes, right? So it'll be cool.
It does. All right. Thanks, Josh,
You're
for
welcome.
previewing that for
You
us. Josh is always looking for inspirational stories to share in the 608. Got an idea for him? Reach out and let him know about it. Coming up in the sprint, the effectiveness of last year's COVID vaccine. If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. Time for the morning sprint. This morning, the White House is preparing for a meeting with Iran in the coming days. It comes after President Trump said that he believes Israel's war with Iran is finished. It follows last weekend's strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. At the NATO summit in the Netherlands yesterday, the president doubled down on his claims that U.S. strikes obliterated Iran's main nuclear site despite assessments from an initial report. President Trump also pushing his big domestic policy bill today. He is set to promote it at a White House event this afternoon. GOP leaders hope that the Senate will pass it this week and then send it back to the House. However, Democrats and some Republicans are raising concerns, especially about Medicaid cuts and the impact on rural hospitals. The bill would extend the president's 2017 tax cuts and include no taxes on tips. The Rock County Medical Examiner's Office has identified 21-year-old Haley Lounsbury as the fourth victim of the murder-suicide in Janesville. She died in the hospital 6 days after the shooting at Aspen Square Apartments. A preliminary investigation shows one person shot 3 others before shooting themselves. The police have not identified the shooter. The deaths remain under investigation. This morning, the Green Lake Police Department is investigating after a child died after being hit by a vehicle while riding their bike. Police responded to Hill Street near the library just before 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Investigators say the child was on the sidewalk when a driver tried to park, drove over the curb and hit the child. Officials rushed the child to Ripon Medical Center, where they died. We're learning more about the effectiveness of last year's COVID vaccine. A study published in JAMA found the 2023-24 vaccine was nearly 50% effective at preventing critical illness and about 30% effective at preventing hospitalization. The COVID virus evolves each year, which is why doctors recommend receiving the updated vaccine.
We have storms and showers in the forecast again this afternoon. We do have an alert day in place until later tonight. There will be 2 rounds of showers and thunderstorms. The first round will take us up to lunchtime and then 6, and I do think we'll have lingering showers and storms that develop behind that. And then temperatures heat up for the weekend.
Thanks, Savannah. Next newscast is coming up at noon. We're always streaming on Channel 3000+.
Have a great day.